Time we are monitoring a big event that sort of gripped certainly those in this country. Who killed and why did he kill the CEO of UnitedHealthcare? Because days after that killing, and it was in just a blatant disregard for any sort of where you are at the time, the day, the Christmas tree lighting in New York City. But he got away with it, or at least seemed to get away with it, because New York police are now saying he's left town. He's no longer in New York, but they've got a lot of interesting stuff on him where it could be just a matter of time before they find him. Ray Kelly is the former NYPD commissioner. Ray, it's always good to see you. Where do you think this guy is?
That's anybody's guess, but
Right.
Clearly he's left the city. The police department, I think, has done a Herculean effort in tracking his whereabouts. He was in the city for 10 days, and he left on the day of the shooting, apparently going to the bus station in Upper Manhattan. Maybe he took that bus to the airport. Maybe he took it someplace else. But there's a lot of work being done with other police agencies. I know the Atlanta Police Department just put out a statement working with the NYPD. So a lot of that is going on. But according to the chief of detectives, he devoted a couple hundred detectives to this case. Now that'll be reduced, of course, because he's left the city. But we're going to see. I can't believe that with the coverage of his picture,
Right.
it must have been on the front page of every newspaper in America, and certainly on TV stations, that somebody is not going to identify this person, that they know him. And of course, there's always facial recognition, but the use of that has been limited by police departments. They've limited it to people that have been arrested. So that cuts down the universe of individuals in the database significantly. But I think it's just a matter of time that he's identified by somebody that knows him. And also, I think it's interesting that the shooter knew almost precisely when the victim was coming into that door. So has there been an accomplice? Was there an accomplice to tip him off as to when Mr. Thompson was coming across the street? These are all questions that are very much out there. But I think the NYPD done a pretty good job, as you say, in gathering an awful lot of information.
And there's a lot that they know, and maybe someone has recognized, this guy from photos that have been released. But let me ask you a little bit about, in the beginning, Commissioner, a lot of people are thinking he was the hitman. That is, the shooter was the hitman. It wasn't, it wasn't him on an agenda. Now we come to find that it might have been, bullet casings and the last that had certain words on them that seemed to indicate that he was on a mission of his own. What do you make of what you've heard?
Well, certainly that's a possibility, and certainly those words tie it to Mr. Thompson's profession or business. But then again, it may be done just to throw off investigators. We don't know for certain. But that is a phrase that's been used apparently in the healthcare industry for the last 15 years, and there's actually a book written with that title talking about the operations of insurance companies. So it's all part of the puzzle, and the detectives are, I think, working quite diligently on that issue, as well as others.
One of the things I wanted to try to get a handle on is that they were quickly able to ascertain as busy an area that this was. Of course, at that hour, it wasn't as busy. They went ahead with the Rockefeller Center tree lighting because they were able to quickly ascertain that this was a targeted attack. And I'm just wondering, this particular CEO, at least at that time, didn't have any Secret Service protection. I'm sorry, any type of protection, I should say. And I'm wondering that the overall CEO of the parent company does, and most CEOs do. What do you make of that?
There's some information that he did have security with him, but that he was just going over to the hotel to check on things quickly, and that he didn't need the security with him. He was actually in a Warwick hotel, which is just across the street.
Right.
So he may have thought that, he didn't need the protection. Obviously, terrible, tragic mistake.
Yeah, to put it mildly. Ray Kelly, thank you very much. Former NYPD Commissioner Ray Kelly on all of that.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.